Okay, first of all, hi.
Hi.
Hey, that's not bad. One more time. Hi.
Hi.
All right, very good. My name is Bobby Wiggins, and I work for a group called Narconon. Just to define that for you real quick, narco is Greek for drugs, and non obviously means no, because we don't use drugs actually at the program to help people come off of drugs. I've always classified it as kind of an all-natural drug rehabilitation program. At any rate, Narconon itself is a worldwide program. We help people who have drug problems, sometimes real serious ones, and we help them to come off drugs. Besides that, and my main deal, the main thing I've been doing for a long time now, I go around and I do these drug education talks. That's what I'm here to do tonight. Before I start, I want to let you all know that some of the information that I'm going to give you tonight comes from the fact that I did work with people, hands-on, helping them to come off drugs. I was a drug rehabilitation counselor for about 13 years. But some of the information, sadly enough, does come from the fact that I did use drugs myself. I started at 11 years old, first of all, drinking alcohol, and a little later on, smoking marijuana. As I got older and I went through high school, the use of those two drugs continued, but then it began to increase little by little. When I got to college, I started to try other drugs. LSD, PCP, cocaine, you name it, and unfortunately, I tried it. When I left college, I knew that I was in real big trouble, and I knew that I had to make a change. I did flunk out of college, by the way, because I was using those drugs. But I knew I was in big trouble, and I knew that I had to do something fast before the drugs killed me. So what I did, very simply, I left my home. I went out west. I was living in New York State at the time. Traveled around the country, saw an awful lot of the country, and for 2 years I did manage to stay away from all drugs. But when I came back home in 1975, I did something that year that was going to drastically change my life. I opened up a bar and restaurant. And inside this restaurant, not a great career change, but that's what I did. And inside this restaurant, I had some customers who were very big cocaine dealers. They were selling anywhere from $500,000 to almost $5 million worth every year. Now, my part in this thing was very simple. What I would do is I would give these guys a safe place inside my restaurant to sell their drug. And in exchange for that, they would give me cocaine. As much as I wanted for as long as I wanted it. To make a long story short here, it was like a rocket ride down. The drug was literally eating up the inside of my body, and by the end of the summer, I was having a tough time even thinking. This, by the way, at Narconon is what we call a person's ruin. It's something that has to kind of like hit the guy right in the head so that he'll wake up and make a change. At any rate, that was my ruin, and once again I knew I had to make a bigger change, or no joke, I wasn't going to live, probably not for more than a month. So once again, fortunately for me, I did. I sold the restaurant, I moved out of New York, I went down to Connecticut, and it was there in December 1977 that I entered the Narconon program, and with an incredible amount of hard work, I came off drugs. Well, the good news is I've been drug-free ever since. It's actually been, well, almost 21 years now. Wow. But, yeah, cool, huh? When I first came off drugs, I had a ton of questions. I wondered how come people like myself even start in the first place? And why is there so many, or why are there so many drugs in our country today? Well, after working with several thousand people, from the ages of 11 on up 70, with practically every kind of drug problem you can imagine, I've gotten the answers to those questions and a lot more. So, what I'm going to try to do here tonight, I'm going to have to move really, really fast, is about a 20-minute presentation. Just one little aspect about drugs. But while I'm doing this, if you guys have any questions, try to keep them in mind, because I am going to do a timeout at the end of 20 minutes, and I hope we'll have time to fit a few questions in. Cool? Okay, that's enough blabbing about me. Next thing I want to do here is called the communication drill. And I'm just going to ask all of you to do a few things for me. First thing I'd like you to do is to look at someone near you. Brutal. All right. Now look at another person near you, a different one. Great. Now shake one person's hand. Find a person, shake their hand. All right, very good. Now shake two people's hands at the same time. Excellent. Now give one person a high five. All right, two people high fives. Excellent. Now say hello to one person. Hello. Okay, now find a person across the room, say hello to them. Hey, Ray. Great. Now all together, stomp your feet 3 times hard. Excellent. Everybody, look at the ceiling. All right, look at that wall. Great. Look at that wall. Very good. Now all together, look right up here and say hi. Hi. Thank you very, very much. That is the end of the drill. This is the start of the presentation. I have a question for you guys right off the bat here. I'm just curious. How many of you know someone close to your age, maybe a little bit older? How many of you know someone who smokes marijuana? Hands? Hold them up high. I just want to kind of get a feel for how many hands we have in the air here. Okay. I'm going to guess we're probably about 85%. I just want to let you guys know that when I would ask that question to a typical senior in high school class in 1989, almost any place in New England, I'd always get the same response. You know, I'd have 100 seniors in front of me. I'd look, I'd say, how many of you know somebody who smokes marijuana? There'd always be like 2 or 3 guys way, way in the back of the room. You know, they'd be sitting back there kind of like, sort of laughing, you know, and nobody else had a clue. They're like, I don't know anybody. This is so much the case that by the end of that year, I no longer even did a talk on marijuana. I'm not joking. I'd go into school, I'd say, what do you guys want to hear? And they'd tell me, and I'd go, well, what about marijuana? They go, no, we haven't even seen that stuff like 2-3 years. Weird, huh? Yeah. Today, 1998, almost every 7th grade that I go into in the New England area, I ask that question, you know, it's like, oh yeah, my brother, my sister, you know. It's like this feeding frenzy of sharks, you know, they're all over it. So something kind of drastic changed here. In the last 8 years, I just want to take a couple minutes to cover what it is. Oh, before I do that, I have a very important question for you guys. I really need you to think about this one. How many of you have ever heard something positive about marijuana? This would be like a good point about it, just anything positive at all. Raise your hands high. Just any kind of like good it could be something you heard from a friend or something you read in a book or whatever, right? Can I take a couple of these real quick? Anybody got one?